Let's talk about sales. Sales is not about being pushy, contrary to popular belief. Sales is actually about diagnosing needs. Hey guys, we're Caleb and Mary Beth Lutz from What They Don't Teach You.
We are both former teachers, Mary Beth in elementary, myself in secondary, so middle and high. As we got into the school systems, we started paying attention to what we were able to teach, and especially for myself, what wasn't taught.
Yeah.
I was a math teacher, and I started noticing when my students would graduate, no matter what they chose to do, they needed to get good at how to make money and learning how to steward it. They needed to get good at working with people, and that's why we started the channel. We'll dive into all things, both money, freedom, personal influence, communication. We're excited for today to dive in a lot more on the sales side, which we do have our other channel, Let's Grow, where we dive into all things sales as well. So this is a very fun soapbox for us, can be. But yes, we've just got 3 points for you today.
Yeah. So the 3 points we're going to be talking about today are how listening beats talking, objections are just unanswered questions, and follow-up is where the deals close. So let's dive in here. All right, listening beats talking.
Which is why I'm doing a long pause.
He did a great job. Listening beats talking. And believe me, this is for sales, this is for marriage, this is for all the things. So, yes.
It's true.
Yeah.
Well, I think there's two different ways to look at this. I think there are some of us who enter the sales field and listening is actually our preference. That is very much more me. I'm not the person who has ever had the silver tongue or known what to say at all times at all. And when I learned that sales is so much more about helping other people buy than it is about you selling, it's so much more about finding what people are looking for and helping them get that than it is about pushing something on them. That's so powerful. And so listening is truly, it's not a, how do I have the right thing to say? How do I get the right line? How do I memorize this? It's so much more about, hey, who is my customer?
Yes.
Like, where are they at? Like, if I don't know them at all, if I don't know what they're here looking for, this can be car sales. This can be high ticket sauna sales. This can be direct sales where it's smaller products that they buy on repeat. This can be freight sales. And we've done these conversations over and over, but truly question number one is, who is my customer? What are they looking for and how can I help them? And once you start diving in there and taking those points, then you're like customizing what you're saying and what you have for them based on who they are and what they're looking for there. But that's for someone who's a more natural listener. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, and I was just thinking a little bit of my journey because when I started, there's kind of a joke. I'm very charismatic and I can get really excited about things, which is wonderful. And there is a time and place for it. Ironically, throughout my sales career, and maybe it's just maturity, if I can be honest, because there are different personality types and we could go so many ways with this. But at the end of the day, people like to buy when they feel heard and understood. They don't like to be sold to. Yeah. And how often are you out and about, someone doesn't know anything about you and they just are like, hey, can I talk to you for a second? And you're like, man, like, come on. You know what I mean?
Or you're on social media and you have someone being like, wait. You just need to listen to the next 30 seconds. And you're like, please get out of my face.
Yeah. We don't like things being pushed on us. What's the analogy of if you were to have a wad of $100 bills with you in your hand and you stood outside of a store and you were like handing, had this in your hand and you would go up to people and you'd be like, hey, I have something for you. People, one, wouldn't even realize it was 100 because their first thought when they see something being pushed upon them is get away from me type of thing. So that being said, when it comes to listening, the power of that is so few salespeople actually do it.
Yeah.
It's really sad, honestly, but so few people, they're always thinking of what to say next, or wait, how could I overcome this objection? And we'll talk about that, but listening is actually where you find the key points to actually even say what needs to come next, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. My one other thought with this is if you are a beginning salesperson looking for those skills, you probably start with a script.
Totally.
Or you start with a mentor who's showing you this is kind of the first steps here.
Yep.
As quickly as possible, you need to know what matters most is not that you follow the script, and it's not that you're following the perfect order. What matters most is, once again, that you know who your customer is and what they want. And I feel like that is just a repeat here. So I think this actually comes into play with the second point on objections too, because to me, objections are one of the biggest gifts that you can get, that you can receive from your potential customer, because it's telling you once more what they really want. So even if someone is like, your price is too high, that helps me understand, okay, like, tell me again what you're looking for here and what price were you looking to pay for it at? Yeah. And it gives you a way to come back to them and say, so, okay, based on what you said, here's what I can do for you. The service that you're asking for, I handle this in freight all the time. Here's all these other loads that are not moving that people are only offering this. So I can go to market for you, but it does require this rate. Like, is that okay? Can we get that done? And it's just a chance to take a step back and reestablish what you can do for them, what they're truly looking for. And usually price is just a matter of something that they predetermined in their head.
Yeah, and I think it really comes down to, even with like a pricing objection, maybe there wasn't a value point for them that was highly, the only word I have is exploited, and that's not even my intention to say exploit, but maybe discovered is a better word, right?
Yes.
Maybe there was a huge value for them. It's like, if they knew that this service could provide that value, well, that's invaluable to them. And so, and there can be negotiating and pricing too. But at the end of the day, objections, they're just a request, a further request for information, I would say. And it's like, there's a way to address the objection. It's called ARM, which is acknowledge, respond, and move on. That's what I learned in one of my first sales jobs. And it was a great thing to say, like, hey, I heard you say this. Okay. Well, I know you mentioned XYZ here in the beginning. Tell me a little bit more about that, and maybe let them talk for a bit, and then you kind of just say, okay, got it. So let's keep going, and you continue to progress. Yeah. And so when you hear an objection, a lot of times we think, it's almost like we feel like we need to, like, be on our heels, and that actually should be, oh my gosh, they're actually just trying to understand a little bit more of what I have, if that makes sense.
That's so good. I was going to say it totally goes back to point number one, which is listening is more important.
Hugely.
So one of the best ways you can respond when there is an objection brought up, whether it's too expensive, whether it's, hey, this is my real concern. It's, hey, could you unpack that more for me?
Yes.
Can you help me understand why? Can you help me understand more on this? Because again, the more you can get to know what they want, the more you can help them there.
Yeah. Unpack that more, or tell me more is one of my favorites.
Yes.
Hey, you said this, or can you expand on that? That's another phrase I'll use quite a bit. That's so good. So
my one other thought is in interviews, and this is a quick branch off, and I just went through a round of hiring and interviews. If I, as the interviewer, am saying, hey, you mentioned this is a concern for me, and I want to be straightforward. Can you tell me more? That may sound like an objection. What I'm truly saying is, yes, this is a concern. Can you help me believe that you're able to navigate through this? Like, can you actually sell me on this for you? I'm not trying to put you at a place where you're uncomfortable necessarily, but I do want to see how you respond under pressure. And I do want to know, is this actually who you are, or did I just mishear this? So one more facet there.
I don't know if this... I'll just keep going here. On the interview train, and I know this is about sales, what did you notice for some people when you would ask that question to them? What were some results of people being asked that question?
Yeah, I mean, there was one young guy that when I expressed a real concern, he just hung up the phone. And it was so sad because he had many good things going for him, and I had one concern area, and he wasn't able to handle that, which... for the work that I do in freight, you've got to be able to stand up in high pressure situations.
Totally.
There were some that would then try to put something back on me like, no, I didn't say that. You're blah, 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 blah. And it made it like an accusation thing, like this is on you. And the one that I can remember who leaned into it and said, no, thank you. That's a great question. Here's what I meant. And here's a story of why that's the case. She is the one that I hired. So, yeah.
So some life skills for you too, not just for sales.
100%.
But, yeah. And one thing I'll say last bit on this is when it comes to objections, it's not something to run from. It's actually something to lean into when you're in sales. It's a great gift that they've given you that they just want some further information. And whether you close the deal or not, you listening and actually handling that objection by coming back with what they truly need is what it's really all about. So
good. Final point.
All right. Point number 3. So follow-up is where deals actually close. And I'll touch on this quite a bit because when I first started my sales career, I was in a very heavy cold calling environment, and that is still the case for currently. But what I realized is follow-ups are actually where the fortune is. A lot of times salespeople think that, if I just call 1 or 2 times, that it's going to be fine. Quick story on that. In fact, the average time that a prospect will pick up the phone if you happen to do cold calling is the 5th or the 8th time, even if they are interested. People are extremely busy, especially nowadays between smartphones and notifications. Like, people are just very busy in today's world. Mm-hmm. I had someone who, it was our Black Friday special when I was selling saunas back in the day.
That I referenced, yes.
Yes, that you did reference. And I remember she was someone who said, please follow up with me. Mm-hmm. I think I looked in the notes and it was like 12 times that I had followed up with her because she said, follow up with me. Yeah. And it happened to be on Black Friday that she finally texted me. She's like, I'm so sorry. I've been crazy busy. If there's any way we can move forward today, let's just do it. She got a great deal too, which was really nice.
Great timing on her
100%,
response.
100%. But still, she literally told me, thank you for not giving up. Life has been crazy. Now, will that be every single person? No, but that's also a referral for down the road because she said, man, Mary Beth provided a great service. You should totally go with her. So following up is pretty key if you're going to be in sales.
It's huge.
Yeah.
I have 2 quick points here. One, a story. The very first customer when I was in freight that took me from kind of low level, like hitting all the basic starter stuff to being like a full blown account where it was hundreds of thousands for the company at the time. And, paid me well too. I followed up with them for 15 months straight after the initial conversation before I ever landed it. And it was during COVID when everything changed and the company had to pivot that they reached back out to me and said, hey, we actually need to have this conversation now. And so truly invaluable. The other thought I have, when we've done booths, when we're testing a product launch for a first time for anything we've done direct sales, or when we're helping someone new get started, sometimes you have a list of, 30, 40 people to follow up with. Mm-hmm. One of the best things you can do for yourself is to ask them permission to follow up first and have fun with it, have some humor with it. I always laugh with people and I'm like, so if I give you a call like you're asking me to, you're not going to treat me like a weirdo, right? Okay, cool. I'll shoot you a text right after we leave here and then I'm going to give you a call in 2 days. I'd love to see how this product was for you. So setting the expectation on the front end. And then, yes, if life gets busy for them, but your last conversation was them saying, yes, no, I do want you to follow up with me, then continue to follow up until you hear from them otherwise. I appreciate that. Sometimes I am very busy between all the different things that we're doing. But if someone is consistent, they're professional, they're saying, hey, last we knew you wanted to move forward, like, please let us know if that's changed, but otherwise we want to stay in front of you. I am always telling them, thank you so much. Like, yes, let's do it now. Or things did shift a little, but as soon as we need this, you're the one I'm calling. Please touch base with me every month or so. It's so valuable.
Good deal. That was really, really good.
Are we wrapping there?
I think that's going to be a wrap here.
You've got those 3 points. Just to recap very quickly: listening, There's so much gold there.
Yep.
Handling objections as gifts to you to tell you what your customer wants is invaluable. And then the follow-up game is where the fortune lies, as you said.
Fortune is in the follow-up, 100%. And thank you for being here with us today. Feel free to check the description below. We do have some free resources that are coming on our page. And one of them will actually be an authentic sales
Starter guide,
which
the
we're
authentic
really
sales starter
excited.
guide.
Yeah, really excited about. So that's going to be on there along with some other resources for you to check out. And feel free to comment below if you're struggling in sales and you're just trying to get over the hump or whatever it may be. If there's any way we can help, we'd love to. Or if there's a topic you'd like to see us cover on this channel, we would also love to know that too. We do read every single comment.
Yeah.
It has been great being here with you today. And we always like to remind you, you always have a choice to completely change your life if you choose to. We'll see you next time.